With SEC Media Days right around the corner, it's time to turn our attention to some SEC quarterback talk. And one of the most interesting quarterbacks in all of college football, in my opinion, is Auburn quarterback Bo Nix for multiple reasons, but which we'll get into here in a little bit. But he's a guy who's demonstrated a lot of potential, but has also had some kind of up and down plays. But I do want to talk about him a little bit, and we're going to watch some game film about him. And we're just going to talk about what are some keys that he can focus on to improve and take the next step as a quarterback in 2021. What are some things that are kind of holding him back that if he eliminated or if he kind of just worked on and focused on, that he could be a really good quarterback because he's got a lot of talent. But before we dive into the film and before we dive into kind of the content of the video, I just want to encourage you to consider subscribing to our channel if you like any quarterback related content, whether it's some film breakdowns like this or just any quarterback fun stuff in general. That is it. So let's go ahead and talk about Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is entering his third year as the starting quarterback for Auburn, as it states right now. With TJ Finley coming in, things could change, right? TJ Finley is a big-time quarterback, big-time arm, and he can fit a good system if it kind of caters to him. So we do have a video about that competition, by the way, if you are interested in that. So I would encourage you to go check that out. But today I just want to focus on Bo Nix, because if he does retain the starting quarterback job and if he does kind of retain that position moving forward, I think there are a few things we're going to focus on. And we're going to watch the film. And I also have some videos of Bo Nix that we put out a few weeks ago, probably months ago, that talked about some of his strengths and some of his places he needs to improve on. So this video is going to be more on what he can do to improve. So we're going to show some examples. Even if you want to go watch some of his strengths, I encourage you to find one of the old videos because I think he is a good quarterback. I am pretty high on Bo Nix, so I don't want this video to come off that I'm just kind of nitpicking stuff, because I think some of this kind of stuff we're talking about is fair, that if he improves on, he can be a really good quarterback, but we have to improve on. So the few things I want you to watch in this video are his anticipation. So there'll be times where the receiver is open and he's late on his throws, which either lead to an interception at times, which we'll see, or just an incomplete pass, which could have been a completion. So it wasn't that it was a bad read. Sometimes it's been a good read. He's just late on the throws. We're going to see him throw some kind of this kind of unfriendly balls to receivers where the receiver's open and the receiver has to dive or slide or turn around for it. It's still a completion, but if he would have hit him in stride, then we would see kind of more favorable results. And then we're going to see him forcing the ball at times too. So it's kind of the few takeaways. So one, if Bo Nix can avoid forcing the ball whenever he doesn't need to throw it, if he can avoid kind of being late with the ball, anticipating a bit better, and when the receiver gets open, kind of deliver it there, and then if you can throw a bit more catchable ball at times as well. And I understand sometimes it's pressure in the face, sometimes it's impossible as a quarterback, but these are a few takeaways that I think if Bo Nix kind of really focus on, he can really be a good quarterback in 2021. And one more thing before we dive into the actual video is, I don't know how much is on Nix the past few years, that the inconsistencies, and how much is on that offense as well, because I think there's probably there's probably plenty of blame to go around for maybe some Knicks play and then some of the old offensive scheme as well. Sometimes isn't completely friendly to a quarterback. But again, I think he's uber talented, got a good arm, can run. I think he can fit an offense well if it caters to his strengths. But these are a few areas that I think he does need to improve on. So let's go ahead and dive into the film so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And these are just a few examples from the Tennessee game, the South Carolina game, and the Alabama game. So here's another interception of Bo Nix, and we'll see him not find any rhythm right back there in the pocket. We'll see him kind of hop around and force this throw that doesn't need to be thrown. So again, it's good blocking up front. There's no one penetrating, right? You got stuff right here. At the time, there's no one open right now. So, and then it just kind of slings it, and it ends up being an interception. So if we can kind of rewind it for a split second, if we just run out here, I'm not saying he's going to pick up a first down, or if he just throws it away or decides to tuck it and run, that's a much safer option, like we've seen him do in some other videos. So see, we'll watch here, because this is a time when there actually is no one open. So let's throw it away or just see what we can pick up with our legs. But again, forcing the ball here and then kind of taking the ball out of your offense's hands. The ball doesn't need to be thrown. This is another example of a forced ball. So eliminating forced throws like this is probably the number one thing Bo Nix can do to improve as a quarterback coming up in 2021. We're going to see him on the run, trying to make something there, and just throws a ball that doesn't need to be thrown. Ends up being an interception right there. So you see the athleticism, you see arm strength there, but at the same time, this is the decision making, trying to force a ball. So I think out of all the qualities that we want to see improvement from, this is number one. If you don't turn the ball over, then you have a chance to fight again. This is the ball that doesn't need to be thrown there. So here's another one of Nix's interceptions here, and this is an example of just forcing a throw a throw does not need to be thrown. This is not an example of throwing it late. We'll see this out, just gets rid of it, ends up being an interception. So we'll go ahead, let's look at it real quick, because really good coverage, long throw. So the ball is out now, and there's just, ball does not need to be thrown that long. Interception there. So here's an interception that we'll see Nix on the run. The receiver is open. It's not one of him forcing the ball. He's just late on the throw, just kind of misses him. Good break by the safety for the interception. Just a ball that shouldn't have been thrown. If he runs that, he's got all this space here. So let's look at it real quick, because, again, it's not the read. It's just the timing of the throw here. And, again, he is in the run, so take it with a grain of salt. But still, middle of the field is open. The ball should be coming out kind of now. He is moving within the pocket, but the eyes are downfield. Steps up. Ball is thrown now, but it's too late. The safety is coming, and he is no longer open like he was, being an interception there. So, again, this is another decision-making error right there. Could have ran with it. At the same time, we wish he would have thrown it just a bit earlier. Now he sees him just late on the throw. It leads to an interception. So here is a out route ran right here. It's a completion, but we'll see if it's more of a catchable ball, then the receiver could have caught it and ran upfield for a bit. You see he's open. It's a good read on Nix's part, but if he's able to step in the throw a little bit, now there is pressure, but still you see this kind of often. Just make it a bit easier on the receiver here, and maybe you can get a few extra yards here. Still a good read, but if he doesn't have to go down on the ground, there's a few extra yards there. So here's another example of a completion, but you'd like to see an easier catchable ball to make it easier on your receivers as opposed to having to twist and turn. We'll see the receiver right here. Now, I think he does fumble it, so of course that's not Bo Nix's fault. But if the throw is a bit better, then he's able to get upfield a bit faster there. Good catch, but this is an example of a throw behind him. We'll watch it right here. You see the receiver has to turn, bounce the ball back to himself. So yes, a completion. No, the fumble is not Nix's fault by any means, but just another example of showing if we can get the ball to the receiver, if the ball is right, if we can get it out here, then the receiver is able to catch it and run and get upfield and maybe even get some more yards as opposed to having to turn, hit it to yourself, and go. So just an example of the throw not being extremely accurate. So here's an example of a receiver coming open and just being late on the throw. So just improving the anticipation factor, I think, goes hand in hand with throwing a more catchable ball. So let's go ahead and watch this, because we're going to see the receiver's open right now. The ball needs to be coming out now, as opposed to a few more shuffle steps, and then the ball comes out. The safety's already seen that, and that's what breaks up the ball. So it's actually a good read. It's a correct throw. The receiver is open. It's just a little behind or a little bit late on the throw. So I think that goes hand in hand with throwing a bit more catchable ball to help your receiver out. So again, we're looking forward to seeing what happens with this coaching staff. Again, the ball should have been out, but a good example of just that anticipation factor. So even though we are just kind of focusing on what Nix needs to do better to improve, and we've done a lot of other videos of him of what he does well as a quarterback, I do want to give him some props because it's a hell of a throw. I just wanted to kind of put it on here. Dropped by the receiver, probably would have been a touchdown. Takes a hit, delivers it downfield. Again, not focusing on this part of his game on this video, but with all the stuffs for his improvement, I just figured I wanted to throw this in as well, just to give him some props there. It's a tough throw. So again, just a few clips showing Bo Nix and kind of what he can improve on, and just examples of what he can improve on. So getting rid of the ball whenever the receiver is open, not being late on the throw, not forcing the ball, and then of course being more accurate when the receiver is open. And one of the old videos of Bo Nix that we talked about is just taking what the defense gives him, and we show a bunch of examples of taking what the defense gives him in one of our older videos if you want to go watch it, because whenever he does that, he's a good quarterback, and I still think he's got a lot of potential. And I don't know, how much of the inconsistency was on him and how much was on the scheme that Malzahn had the past few years. But I think sometimes a clean slate is good, and of course you still have TJ Finley coming in, so there'll be a lot of talk coming up about the quarterback position at Auburn. But regardless, I think for Bo Nix, if he is the starting quarterback this year, these are a few areas that he can work on and kind of take the next step as a quarterback. So if you like the video, please consider subscribing, like it below. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think Bo Nix's kind of biggest improvement areas are, and who do you think will be the starting quarterback for Auburn in 2021? Again, SEC Media Days are right around the corner. By the time you watch this, they might already be going on. So a few more weeks, about a month till football, and then we'll be talking more kind of football game stuff. So we'll see you next time on our next quarterback related video.